I guess I'm wondering if you see this as sustainable, because we talked a lot about the consumption trends when China emerged from the pandemic, the kind of revenge spending, reunion dressing type of themes. Is that something that's likely to taper off?
Well, so far we see significant growth in China, as it has always been in the past. The issue this year, which is very different, is that the Chinese customers are staying in China compared to before, where they were used to travel a lot and spend about 2/3 of what they were spending on Panerai when traveling abroad.
Let me ask you about your business in Hong Kong, because the luxury jewellery and watch sales growth outlook there has been troubling for some time. Do you have any anticipation of a recovery, particularly as travel restrictions and the political situation probably means that we won't see a strong return of tourism flow to Hong Kong for quite some time?
Well, the situation in Hong Kong is, of course, extremely challenging since now more than 18 months, especially for the watches industry, which was extremely dependent on tourism. And the fact that the mainland Chinese cannot travel so far in Hong Kong as it was before are rerouting many of these tourists in mainland China. So in Panerai, we have worked since many years on the local customers in Hong Kong. And our 6 boutiques we are having in the territory benefit from the customers we are having locally. But of course, we don't get the international travelers, and we don't see for the time being forecasts which are more positive as the pandemic on one side, plus the restrictions of travel on the other side, limit the number of tourists in the island.
So how does this dynamic between what's happening in Hong Kong versus what's happening in the mainland affect your business decisions, like opening more stores?
Well, I would say that this year we would open at least minimum of 8 stores. We haven't reduced our number of stores opening, especially in Asia, but we'll also open in America. And all our new stores will open in China, where we'll have about 50 stores now for our brand, which makes China by far the largest country in terms of number of stores in the world, as it's about 1/3 of our number of locations in the world.
Let's talk a little bit about the macroeconomic picture as well, because today we had some strength in the US dollar, but of course this trend has been weakening. This GTV chart on the Bloomberg for our viewers showing how the dollar RSI climbing from the most oversold levels of the last decade as we continue to see the weakness in the greenback. How does this affect your business, given that you produce watches in Switzerland?
Well, we export 95% of what we are doing historically from Switzerland, and that is valid for all the major operators of brands from Switzerland in terms of watches. So we are used about the fluctuations in terms of currencies, and if it's not the US dollars, it's the euro or the RMB or the Japanese yen, which are the major currencies in which we are invoicing our business. So the way we are operating is that we have a worldwide pricing structure, which makes for our customers shopping in the world and for the travelers having the same, more or less the same type of prices whether they buy, with the difference, of course, of the VAT. So when there is a major differential in currencies, we are increasing or potentially also decreasing, depending on the region, our prices.
Jean-Marc, talk to me about watch trends, because, of course, for a long time, the trend really was for the bigger, the better, these big statement watches, the bulky watches that your brand is really, renowned for. Lately, we've seen a reversal of that. You even see men resorting to wearing female timepieces, right, much smaller timepieces. Do these trends affect the number of sales and the popularity of your product?
Well, we are seeing that something which is very interesting is that wherever we operate in the world, our top 20 bestsellers are more or less always the same. However, with the importance of China getting a bigger magnitude in terms of sales share, we see that the Chinese are getting more in the lower sizes of our assortment. However, Panerai remains one of the brands which is having a large part of its business in the large size of our assortment.